Yes, sir.
So what the hell did you see today?
Something I didn't expect on the way to work for sure. I left my house. I live out in East Mesa, and I was reporting for duty. I had just signed on, and I never take the 60 hardly ever. But I was thinking to myself, oh, I'll go out to West Chandler today and do some traffic, and I'll just take the 60 out to the 101. And as I was going westbound on 60, I saw a bunch of lights coming on in front of me, a bunch of tail lights, and I'm not sure what was going on. So I started slowing down myself, and then all of a sudden I see a truck veer from the middle lanes of traffic towards the HOV lane into the wall. And then I saw it abruptly just go back towards the middle of traffic. And then I saw the lights, the rear lights of the truck actually turn clockwise. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's rolling. And so at that point, I put on my lights on my motor. I roll up in between traffic, and I get out and I see this truck, and it's got flames. I positioned my motorcycle to protect the scene and protect everybody there. And I got out, I grabbed got off my bike, got a flashlight, went up to the vehicles involved, and there was like 4 other vehicles also involved. And our first job as officers, you know, anybody will tell you is your safety. And I'm supposed to, you know, assess the scene, get off, make sure everybody's, you know, what their injuries are, whatever the case may be. And as I walked around the front of the Nissan, I saw there was a female still trapped inside in the driver's seat, and the back of that truck was just engulfed. And so I ran back to my motor and got my baton and ran back up. He just started hitting the driver's window, trying to break it. And the truck was actually tilted probably between 35 and 45 degrees up on the driver's side of the vehicle, and it was just sitting up. And I just started hitting the driver's door window, trying to break it. And my helmet was still on, and my visor kept falling down on my face, and I was trying to get it off, and I was trying to hit it. And after I hit 3 strikes, I was trying to fix my helmet. I saw somebody out of the corner of my eye come up behind the truck and started trying to extinguish the fire. And I hit it 2 more times, and it broke. I raked the window to try to get her out, and as she started to step out, the truck fell back on all 4 tires. And for some reason, I looked out a corner of my eye, and there's this off-duty fireman, and he's got all his fire retardant gear on. And I'm like, what? You know, and there's no truck around. And so I go up, and I'm like, dude, go get her out. And so he got her out of the truck. You could see that, you know, she was just distraught, traumatic. We got her out, and I handed my baton to a stranger. And I said, here, take this. So we got to get her out of that scene. And I picked her legs up. He grabbed her torso. We walked her to the median to get her away from the fire. And she was just, you know, hysterical, as anybody would be. And, you know, my thought was, I'm not going to let her burn up. I know, I was like, I hit it 3 times. I was like, it seemed like it took forever to try to get this window to break. And my thought was, she's not dying.
You're getting emotional. What emotions do you go through in that moment right now, looking back about everything that happened?
At the time, I wasn't thinking about emotion. My job was to rescue her and to get her out. Right. Just, you know, the thought of a human life perishing by flame, you know, it's just, you know, I was just like, I'm not going to let this happen. And luckily, I had somebody there who's a fireman who had that fire retardant suit, just happened to be there, and reached in and grabbed her, and then we got her to safety. And that's our number one priority. That's what we do. We go to an accident as a motor. On any time we go to any kind of collision, our job is your safety, to make sure, you know, the injuries are taken care of, and then we assess what's going on. But that's our number one priority. My job was to get traffic diverted, make sure everybody's okay, and then DPS rolls up and it's their scene. I give them my statement. A lot of the DPS officers arrived are fellow motors, and I've went to motor school with those guys. A couple of them were my instructors, and it was kind of like when I saw them, it was kind of like, okay, we're good, she's good, we're going to the hospital. And I actually asked her first thing, is anybody else in that truck? And she said no. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then we got her away, and I was like, "Is there anybody I can call for you?" And I called her husband. I got on my work phone. I dialed her husband. I asked for his name, spoke to him, and I gave the phone to her, let her talk to her husband just to reassure him and her. Everything's good.
Have you ever experienced like anything like this before?
Yeah. That's probably why I get emotional. There's certain things that a police officer goes through that we're not just putting a badge on and going to work. You know, we're human beings. We have emotions. And our job is, every one of you, to make sure you're okay.
So your firefighter is in full fire.
Um,
He's fireproof. You're not.
right.
But you're running it anyway, not knowing that you're there.
I don't matter. They do. That's how I look at it. It's just, you know, I signed up for this. I was a Marine before I became a cop. You know, I've been doing it since I was 18 years old. You know, contract says payable with my life if necessary. That's what we do.
It's one thing to be in a, right in the midst of a collision. It's another thing once the fire starts. It's kind of like a race against the clock.
Yeah. But I knew as soon as that window broke, oxygen was going to get in there and it was just going to engulf. And that's exactly what it did. As soon as that window broke, I could see it starting to move up into the beginning, in the front of the cab, because it was already in the back seat and it was starting to move up. And I was like, we got to get her out. So, yeah.
How are you doing? I see a cut in your arm there. Was that from this morning? Or?
No, that was from cleaning my pool. I'm good. I just inhaled a little smoke, but I'm good. Luckily, my wife is my primary care provider, so I got care if I need it. I'm good. So.
At least giving you half the day off?
Not necessary. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, still working. You know, just, you know, we go from one to the next. It's what we do. You know, so, you know, I went to work and just took care of some admin stuff, and I was like, all right, day goes on.
How long have you been a police officer?
20 years.
Is it a surprise for you to have a press conference in regarding this? Did you ever picture something like this happen?
No. No. I mean, I've seen so many accidents in my time and seen good and bad. I've seen so many good things happen, and I've seen, like today, even though it was unfortunate, it was good. We saved her life. I've seen good and bad, and you know, but you know, this stuff right here is, you know, I appreciate it, you know, but it's not what I expect. I don't ask for things.
Other than the nurse saying no one else was in the vehicle, was there any other conversation you had with her?
I just told her, you know, she was just very distraught. She was, you know, wasn't really hysterical, but you see how upset she was. And she clung to me on the side of the road, and I just held her. And I just told her I had her. So I just told her I had her, and she's okay, and she's safe. That's all. I just kept reminding her that she's good. So.
People don't realize how strenuous a job it is to be a motor officer. I mean, you guys have a little bit of everything ready for whatever.
Right.
Just talk about your motorcycle and all the stuff that you have with you to help you out.
Well, I got my motorcycle. I got first aid kit, CPR stuff in there. But to be honest with you, I'm like, the only thing I had to break that window was my baton. I don't have a glass breaker in there. I do have one on my knife on my boot, but it would have probably broke my hand as hard as I was hitting it. So I just took the baton and just swung as hard as I could, and it took a lot to break that glass. I was just like, come on, you know, I was just trying to get it to break. And, you know, I looked at it, and I hit it 3 times, took a break, hit it 2 more times, it finally shattered, and then I just raked it out, tried to get her out. And then I asked her, are you okay? You know, as I knew she had inhaled some smoke and what she had going on, and it was very hard for me to see her in the truck and just banging on that door. And then when I got her out of there, and I was like, are you okay? You injured? And she goes, I got glass in my eyes. And I'm like, sorry. You know, that was probably from me breaking the window. But other than that, you know, I was just happy that it took everything they had to get her in an ambulance. She did not want to get in another car, you know, but I told her husband where they were taking her, put her in the car. I asked for her name, and then they told me what her name was, and then they put her in an ambulance and took her to the hospital, and, you know, she's going to be just fine.
Have you seen your Halloween video?
Have I seen it? Yeah, I have viewed it once.
How was that?
Emotional, you know, going through everything again in my head. You know, I care about people, man. It's just what I do. You know, at my church, you know, that's just what we do. You know, we love God, we love people. You know, and that's exactly what I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I normally take the 202 and at a split second decision, I'm like, I think I'll take the 60. Right place, right time, I guess.
It's a weird question. You ever rolled up on a car?
Yes. Yes, I have. My last agency, I was on patrol, rolled up on a car, and it was engulfed. A kid rear-ended the car, and then it was a chain reaction, and the car that it had hit had an external gas tank on the Jeep, and gas went all over the engine, and it just combusted, and all three cars were torched. And so, luckily, everybody was out, but all three cars went up. So,
You said you're Marine?
yes, sir.
Where were you?
I was at HMH 461 in New River Air Station in North Carolina, Jacksonville. Went to Operation Enduring Freedom. So, went to a little place called Djibouti, Africa. Right.
Funny though, did you ever end up getting your baton back, or?
Yeah, I got it back. You know, after we got the young lady to the median, we put her up against the wall, and I had her stay with the fireman. I then went around to make sure everybody else was okay. And then I saw the guy with my baton. I was like, "Hey, thank you," and he handed it back. But I just went around to all the other cars and said, "You good? You good? You good? You hurt? Anybody okay?" And there was one lady I said, "You know, if you wouldn't mind, just have a seat, relax." She was a little shook up, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I went back over there and I got down on one knee, and I just held on to her until fire got there and wanted to, check her out.
Is there anything from that video that when you went back and saw it, that sticks out that you're like, wow, I really did this type thing?
I can't believe that happened this morning. Nobody expects to, on their drive to work, something like that happen. But it did, and luckily everybody turned out. And I told her when she was in the back of the ambulance before she left, she kept saying to her husband, "I lost my truck. I lost everything in that truck." And I was like, "It can be replaced. You cannot be." I was like, "You're alive." And then she gave me my phone, and I was like, "You good?" And she goes, "Yeah, thank you for saving my life."
What were the conversations like with the off-duty fire?
We fist bumped each other and said, "Hey, thanks, dude. That was awesome," kind of thing. He was a really nice guy. I wish I would have took a better look at his T-shirt. He was wearing a fireman's T-shirt, but I didn't take a good look at it to see what department he was actually with. But and I kind of remember his name. But good on you, dude. He reached in, so good on him.
How long have you been with the Chandler Police Department?
10 years. Yeah, I was with a small department when I got out of the Marine Corps in Colorado. I was there for 10 and a half years, and then I came down here, lateraled on, got fortunate enough to get on with a bigger version of a department that I loved back in Colorado. They were very family oriented, and when my first ride along here with Chandler, I was like, it's just a bigger version of what I'm leaving. They're great. And so I was fortunate enough to get on here with Chandler and been here ever since.
And have you always been a motor officer?
Now, I've been a motor officer for 4 years now. We say we count our time on motors by summers, and I've just done my 4th summer. So I've just completed that. So yeah, I love being a motor. I've done a lot of different things in law enforcement, and this is by far, in my opinion, is the best job out there. I mean, what other department will pay you to ride a motorcycle every day?
And you're coming from home. I mean, you're on the clock as soon as you
Yes, sir.
pull out the uniform.
Yes. We log on from our garage, and we log off at our garage. So I log on and show myself I'm available for calls at that point, and then I just ride to work. And there have been times when I haven't even cleared out of my garage, and they're dispatching me to an accident somewhere in town because there's no other motors on it yet. So I've done that multiple times. But yeah, we're available as soon as we clear our garage. We just have to let them know if we're en route to something. Hey, we might be an extended estimated time of arrival, but we'll be on our way.
Just last question, but just what does that say about the city of Chandler and how they know what to get people out to help people if they need it,
Resource-wise, I have to speak for in my experience with this department and these officers as a whole, they don't think about themselves. They go right to it. They don't question it. Whenever something comes out, they go, and we go out as a team. If somebody gets in some sort of serious incident or something going on, we respond, and we respond for all our brothers and sisters. We all come to play.
Just to put in perspective,
seconds, a matter of seconds. When I saw the lights coming on, and I was kind of like, okay, we got something going on up here. And I wasn't in the HOV lane. I actually had just moved over into what we call the number 1 lane of traffic. And I was passing a car in the HOV lane, and I saw the lights coming on, and then I saw the truck, and it was just seconds. And then I hit my lights and kind of split traffic to get up there to see what was going on, and it wasn't long at all.
You guys good? Thank you so much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. All right, take care.